Role of metal ions in biological process. Living organisms store and transport the metal ions in appropriate concentration to carry out various biological processes. Role of sodium and potassium. In living organisms, sodium and potassium occur as the salts of inorganic acids, salts of proteins, and organic acids. Sodium is the main extracellular action, whereas the potassium is the main intracellular cation. Extracellular cation and intracellular cation. Important physiological functions which these ions perform in the body of plants and animals are maintenance of normal hydration of the body through osmotic regulations controlled by sodium or potassium pump, maintenance of normal acid-base equilibrium by forming buffers which play important role in the regulation of pH under different physiological conditions. In the gaseous transport of CO2, maintenance of normal neuromuscular irritability and excitability, maintenance of proper blood viscosity by keeping the globulins in physical solution and regulating the degree of hydration of plasma proteins. Na plus K plus ions are responsible for secreting digestive juices like pancreatic juice, bile juice, gastric juice, HCl, etc. Potassium is responsible for cell growth, cell repair, and storage of proteins and glycogen. Sodium and potassium salts get excreted by kidneys in the urine. Sodium salts are also excreted by skin in the form of pre-respiration. Sodium is hypernatremia. Hypernatremia. It is a condition in which blood sodium level is high. In potassium, hyperkalemia. It is a condition of elevated blood potassium level. Symptoms of sodium hypernatremia is thirst, confusion, brain cell shrinkage, muscles twitching, and in severe cases seizures and coma, and treatment is administration of free water keeping electrolyte imbalance in mind. It is main extracellular action. In potassium, symptoms of hyperkalemia is malaise, muscle weakness. Levels higher than 5.5 mm have been associated with cardiovascular events. Treatment है give insulin, salbutamol. Hemodialysis is required in severe cases. It is main intracellular action. Role of calcium. Calcium is the major cation in the structural materials such as teeth, bones, shells, and number of other less well-known calcium-rich deposits. These calciferous biological materials like bones through consist largely of calcium carbonate and phosphate is continually being deposited and reabsorbed and as well as act as buffer for body. Calcium and phosphate ions are controlled by hormonal atoms or hormonal atoms नहीं hormonal actions. The form of calcium phosphate that occurs in bone and teeth has same composition as mineral apatite apatite C10PO4G X2 where X equals to FCl or H or OH. Among the most vital functions of Ca2 plus is its involvement in enzymatic systems, its being a regulator of muscle concentration, a transmitter of nervous pulses, and an agent of blood coagulation. Hypercalcemia, it is a condition of elevated calcium blood level. Symptoms है stones, renal and biliary, bone pain, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, anorexia, psychiatric and overtones. Treatment है hydration, increased salt uptake, forced diuresis. In extreme causes, drug could be given. Calcium act as intercellular, extracellular and intracellular sites. It can modulate the excitability of cellular surface membrane and the transport of material along nerve fibers. It can strengthen the mechanical properties of a tissue and stabilize enzymes. It acts as a liaison between excitation and muscular contraction and also between excitation and secretion. Next है role of magnesium. Magnesium has high charge of radius ratio and consequent strong hydration as MgH2O6 2 plus. Therefore, it plays important role in biological system. One of its major roles is as a quaternary to negatively charged ROPO3H- groups in nucleotides and polynucleotides. Magnesium helps to stabilize the three-dimensional structure of ribonucleic acid RNA and DNA and thus crucial to the proper functioning of genetic machinery of the cell. The conversion of sugars to phosphosugars in the presence of ATP and catalyzed by kinase enzyme. All these kinase enzymes require the presence of divalent metal ions, Mg2 plus being the most common complex with triphosphate group, facilitating the cleavage of a phosphorus oxygen bond. Mg also has a unique role in green plants as the central atom of chlorophyll. It is required for phosphorescence to occur during the process of photosynthesis. Mg is an integral part of the molecule of chlorophyll, prosthetic ion in enzymes that hydrolyze and transfer phosphate groups, essential for energy requiring biological functions such as membrane transport, generation and transmission of nerve impulses, contraction of muscles, oxidative phosphorylation, essential for the maintenance of ribosomal structure and protein synthesis. Hypermagnesemia, it is a condition in which Mg blood level is higher than 0.5 mm. Symptoms are weakness, nausea, vomiting, impaired breathing, low blood pressure, low blood calcium, low heart rate, dizziness, and decreased tendon reflexes. Treatment is give calcium gluconate, give diuretics and intravenously, and when kidney function is impaired dialysis is done. Role of zinc. Zinc metal ion is relatively more abundant in biological materials in the human body. It is found in metalloprotein, which also binds copper, chromium, mercury and other materials. Zinc is a common element in nucleic acid polymerase and transcription factors where its role is structural rather than catalytic. Zinc enhances the stereoselectivity of polymerization of nucleotides under prebiotic reaction conditions. It plays a structural role forming the peptide into multiple domains or zinc by coordination with cysteine and histidine. Carbonic anhydrase and carboxypeptidase are first zinc enzymes. Later on 80 other zinc enzymes have been reported which are responsible for staggered physiological functions in the human body as maintaining the structures of proteins that activate and deactivate genes. Zinc take part in the catalytic function of many metalloenzymes, plays a role in conformational stability. If In zinc deficient animals, protein synthesis is distributed. Zinc take part in drug metabolism, metabolizing vitamin A from the liver and a system defending the organism against free radical damage. Zinc can protect the organism against cadmium toxicity. In wound healing and tissue repair, substitution of zinc is beneficial only if a zinc deficiency exists. For purpose of long-term parenteral nutrition, zinc should be added to the different infusion solution. Role of iron. Iron is the most widespread transition metal for a metal in living system. It is most commonly found in form of oxides and hydroxides. Iron hydroxides are relatively insoluble in water. To enable the uptake of iron by plants, it is sometimes necessary to mark the iron in an iron organic complex in the body of mammals. Iron is stored as iron 3 hydroxide particles surrounded by proteinaceous known as ferritin. Iron is transported through the bloodstream via transferase. In microorganisms, solubilization and transportation is achieved by decreased molecular weight proteins called cytophores. The two main functions of iron-containing materials are transport of oxygen and mediation in electron transfer chains. Iron levels are 350 to 500 micrograms are considered toxic and levels are 1000 micrograms indicate severe iron poisoning. Symptoms: stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, metabolic acidosis, hypovolemic shock, damage to brain and fever. Treatment: using chelating agent like deferoxamine. If that doesn't work, dialysis. Role of cobalt. Cobalt can display oxidation states, 5 oxidation states, 3 oxidation states, sorry. Cobalt can display 3 oxidation states which are +3, +2 and +1. The latter is extremely unstable but never nevertheless is Nevertheless, is important in biology. Cobalt ion finds its place in +3 oxidation state at the core center of codon ring of vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 can undergo 1 electron or 2 electron reduction leading to CO2 and CO1. The reduction may be achieved by nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide (NADH) and flavinadenine dinucleotide (FAD). B12CO3 NADH Fe or FAD2ER B12CO2 and B12CO1. So the topic is completed. Thank you so much for watching.